I was a big Willy Wonka fan growing up, and I don't think that's a particularly original thing to say. Who didn't wish to visit the chocolate factory as a little child? I first fell in love with the Tim Burton version of the movie and would always watch it with my sister growing up, and it wasn't long until I was watching the 1971 version at school and falling in love with that one too. I mean, hell, I just rewatched both movies last year and I still wouldn't mind paying a visit to the Willy Wonka chocolate factory, if only it existed. Suffice to say, I was excited for 2023's Wonka, a retelling of the classic Roald Dahl story, this time focusing on a Willy Wonka as a younger chocolatier, trying to make his dream into reality. Sure, there was a lot of cynicism that this movie will be a soulless cash grab, but it's directed by frickin' Paul King. I mean, did everyone just bonk their head and forget that this is the guy who directed Paddington 2, one of the greatest films ever made, and almost certainly the greatest family film? Well, I didn't, and it feels good to be vindicated for my belief in this movie, because Wonka is just a hell of a good time, and a perfect example of an idea that shouldn't work, but does. The big question on everyone's mind is how Timothée Chalamet would fare as the titular character. Gene Wilder's version, which this movie has been marketed as a companion piece to, is an iconic performance. And say what you will about Johnny Depp's divisive portrayal of the character, but it's impossible to deny he took some wild swings, even incorporating inspiration from Vogue's editor-in-chief Anna Wintour. A lot of people had concerns that Chalamet would be an odd fit for the role, and that perhaps he wouldn't emanate the zany quirk required from the character. Whether or not they're right, it will depend on who you ask. Chalamet does a fantastic job playing this version of Wonka, but it's pretty far from the one we've previously seen. He's quirky, he's weird, but there's none of the mystery and hints of insanity that have become staples of the Wonka personality. This is a far more idyllic, optimistic Wonka, like if Paddington had a dream of opening up a chocolate factory, and with that in mind, he does a fantastic job. Perhaps you don't know because the trailers went out of their way to hide it, but this movie is a musical, and he does quite well in terms of the singing and dancing. He won't be winning any awards, and his voice isn't astounding on a technical level, but he's an actor first and foremost, and his greatest strength is how well Wonka's personality comes through across the music. You can feel his enthusiasm, feel his joy. Now, Wonka is far from a one-man show, with Olivia Colman, Keegan-Michael Key, Carla Lane, Hugh Grant, Patterson Joseph, and Sally Hawkins rounding out the cast. I can honestly say there isn't a single weak link. Everyone seems like they're having a ball of fun. Even Hugh Grant, who claims he couldn't have hated the whole thing more, plays the best Oompa Loompa you could ask for. The script gives everyone a lot of funny material to work with. The character dynamics are absolutely fantastic, and there are a lot of great moments of setups and payoffs in this film, where a seemingly throwaway line becomes relevant much later on. In storytelling, there's three types of character arcs. The positive change arc, in which the protagonist learns a lesson which makes them a better person, the negative change arc, in which the character changes for the worse, and the flat change arc, in which the protagonist doesn't change much throughout the story, but instead changes others. This movie executes a flat arc in absolutely delightful fashion, and it's because of that this film works so well. When you see Wonka light up the streets of London with his chocolate, you can't help but feel something light up within you. Considering how much of this movie works, this could have easily been one of my favorites of the year, but there are a few flaws that hinder the whole thing, and a lot of it has to do with the third act. Though there are heist elements throughout the film, the final act goes full on heist movie, and it doesn't entirely work for me. It felt less like it belonged with the first two acts and more like something plucked right out from the first Ant-Man movie. There are also a few instances of dumb writing throughout the movie. A scene where crazy coincidences happen, or a scene in which a chocolate makes some person grow hair and doesn't make another one grow hair. And although I enjoyed the musical numbers, they didn't blow the roof off. And for a movie that has so many of them, I would like to be coming back to more than 2 of them by the time the movie is done. Though to be fair, that is most musicals for me. But at this point, I'm just complaining about why an already great movie wasn't absolutely amazing. And it's important to reiterate that in spite of these flaws, this is just a great movie. It's funny, it's quick, well acted, it makes you nostalgic, and it's refreshingly feel good and sincere in an age where every movie feels self-referential, sarcastic, and cynical. It's also incredibly well shot, and Paul King uses visuals in a creative way, which even makes the exposition scenes fun. I'm feeling an 8.5 out of 10 for this one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm Cinemike, and I'll see you next time.